Please join us and our guest, Kevin Manske, on The Experience Local, live with Russ and Scott.
Hello, and welcome to The Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Each week, they bring you conversations with local Christian businesses and business owners. Join in every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. The Experience Local is brought to you each week by wonderful sponsors.
Guild Mortgage. Contact Buddy Puckett at 503-851-8031. NMLS number 270057. Independent Merchant Brokers. Low-cost and no-cost debit and credit card processing. 877-460-4747. IndependentMerchantBrokers.com. Father's Day is coming. Boson Hub Digital Development reminds you. Father's Day Firehouse Fun at Powerland Heritage Park. Learn more, OregonFireMuseum.org. Adams Rib Smokehouse, 1210 State Street, Salem, Oregon, 503-362-2194. AdamsRibSmokehouse.com. The Jim Coleman Insurance Agency, serving the Mid-Valley since 2003. JimColeman.com.
And now, your hosts for The Experience Local, Russ and Scott.
And that's us.
There we are. We are live. Welcome to The Experience Local, live with Russ and Scott. And we are so blessed to be with you every week to be able to share amazing local people, aren't we, Scott?
You know, it's always on The Experience Local. We've got leaders in business, government, nonprofit organizations. Today, we've got a wonderful nonprofit that we're going to learn about. You know, these are the folks that make the community a great place to live. And I just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. And those of you who are online during the week, you might see an advertisement of The Experience Local on your digital platforms, because all of our sponsors are also included in digital advertising. And so you just never know where they're going to pop up.
And we definitely, speaking of local business, want to supporting your local business, including our sponsors, as well as all the people that are in your local area. You know, whether you are here with us in the Willamette Valley or whether you are in another local area, we want to encourage you in this global community. It's so amazing. It really is. I'm just blessed by this global community, but we can't forget our local community. And especially when we talk to believers in business, and it's just an amazing opportunity to share each other's, great resources that we have locally. And I'm just so blessed to do that, Scott. And, Scott, before we get going here, anything exciting that you're ready for in this new week? You're just back in town. Anything exciting going on?
Oh, it's one of the things that's really fun has been watching pictures of new playground equipment being installed at our church, at Village Church. And it's just something that we had felt was really necessary for the community. And so this is accessible to people in the neighborhood. And a lot of people have been working hard on this. And I'm excited to see that available for this summer for the children in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's so awesome. When churches and businesses work together to help the community in those areas, I know one organization that Kevin and the United Way work with is the Mid-Willamette Family YMCA, which I'm also working with as well. And they have that all-inclusive playground for kids of all types of disabilities, and kids without disabilities can all come together and play. It's an amazing place. And, I think when we come together, Scott, I truly believe we are better together. We use these resources to make each other better. And so I'm just thankful for you, thankful for Kevin, who's about to be on today and ready for a new week.
Yeah. And I know you've got a bunch of stuff going on, so it's going to be a good week, Russ, and very, very busy as usual.
It is very, very busy. And, I just want to encourage everybody. If you want more information on Scott and I, we would love to be a resource for you both locally and abroad. And Scott is at dscottsmith.com. I'm at russhedge.com. Not only do we have good free resources for you, but we also have several books available. And I am blessed to be an international bestseller. Scott is blessed to be a bestseller. We have done so many great things. So we're happy to be a resource for you. But today we're going to focus on Kevin Manske and the United Way. Are you ready to get this show rolling,
Yeah,
Scott?
let's, as I say, let's get to the good part.
Yes. Well, Kevin's been a great friend for a long time. What a blessing he is. And been a great support for me. As I was going through my cancer battle, I know he was praying for me and always asking me about how things were going. So, Kevin, we're going to bring him in and find out a little bit more about the United Way. Hey, Kevin.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We are so good.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, we're blessed to have you here too. I mean, it is a good day. And, you and I were talking at a networking event, and I said, you have to be on our show because United Way is such an amazing organization. You're such an amazing individual. Why don't you just give us a little snapshot? Who is Kevin Manske and what are you all about?
Well, sure. Well, Kevin Manske, I've been in the Albany area since about 1994, give or take. I went to Western, graduated there in 95, was hired as a police officer. So I was over Benton County and Albany PD and the academy for about 10 years. And then I struck it on my own. I was a business owner, owned a couple businesses, and then I started in real estate about 6 or 7 years ago, back in 16, so about 8 years ago now. And then this opportunity came along to take over the reins of the United Way almost 2 years ago now. And the United Way has been kind of near and dear to my heart. My mom grew up when I was a child, my mom was the first professional fundraiser for the Boy Scouts of America and as a woman. And she was up in Portland, and the United Way was a big component of her work. So I'd been exposed to what parts of the United Way can do from an early age, during Boy Scouts and whatnot. And I knew a couple of the former executive directors here over the course of my tenure in Albany, and I thought this would be a great way to help the community. And we're over 3 counties, so it's really cool to not only see what's going on in Linn County, but also Benton and Lincoln, because they're very diverse communities, and the coast is really different than the valley, and it's been super fun to get to know the different partners in all 3 counties.
Kevin, we've got Kevin Manske from United Way here on the Experience Local. Kevin, I was just saying it's in our introduction that here on the Experience Local, we talk to leaders in government, business, nonprofit. You embody all 3. When you were growing up, did you ever think that you would be involved in such a variety of careers?
No, I actually did. Growing up, I was either going to be I wanted to be a veterinarian until I cut into college and realized how much that was going to cost and how many years. And I really didn't like microbiology when I got there. So I was kind of at a crossroads with my sophomore year in high school, I think, or not college. I was either going to go into the Coast Guard and hopefully either be a pilot in a helicopter or a crew chief or be a police officer. And I just chose the police officer route. And it led to just the community involvement, led to a bunch of different really great opportunities to kind of advance my career and help all the community along the way. So it's been a very blessed career so far, and I'm very happy to the people and the friends and the acquaintances here in Albany and the Linn County area.
Well, it's amazing. People don't realize how difficult, but how vital that is, to be part of the police force. I have family and friends involved in that. And what a blessing being able to reach out and protect the community. But it also gives you a chance because they're part of the community. I think that probably was one of your launching points to really embodying all the people around you and how important community is and all of that kind of thing. So my question for you today is, how, when you look at your business and community and all that we've got going on, how does your faith play a role in that? And it's important to, what we stand for in the community, right?
Absolutely. I think the biggest driver in that, and one of the biggest pieces of success, we kind of intertwine everything, is strong family bonds, the ability to have a grounded family, be very proud of your kids. Got 2 bio kids, 2 step kids, very proud of all of them. My wife is phenomenal. Our kids, one of them is almost ready to graduate college back east. She's playing volleyball. My Olivia is down in GCU. She just got back from Madrid on a study abroad. She's a social marketing major. She'll be graduating pretty soon. We've got Matthew, who's working locally and going to head back to LB. And then we have our other son, Mason. He's in the Army. He's working on Chinook helicopters over in Fort Carson in Colorado. So it's been such a great support to have all our kids be successful. And then my wife's been an X-ray tech for a long time up in Woodburn area. So just having that bond and that strong family and that faith in the family kind of bleeds over in the community.
Yeah.
And today's guest, Kevin Manske of the United Way, Linn, Benton and Lincoln County. I'm just thinking, Kevin, when you were a police officer, and I'm always grateful that someone wants to be a police officer, because no matter how nice the community is, you always kind of see the downside of it. But I think this gives you a unique perspective onto the needs of the community that the United Way can fill. What is it that you're seeing from your position?
Well, that was a long time ago. I left policing, almost 15, 20 years ago. So it's changed a lot in our community. Albany has grown quite a bit. We were, when I started, about 40,000 people. Now we're pushing 60. But in this position here, I get more of a macro look at things. I get to see what's going on, not only in Linn County, but over the 3-county region that we cover, and also the surrounding counties. One of the great things that United Way does is they spend a ton of time, money, and resources in getting what's called ALICE data. And it's a very in-depth look, and you can go state by state, you can go down to county, city, neighborhood, whatever, and it gives you the demographics of the city, or the area, not the city, but the area that you're looking at. Because what we're finding is everybody talks about the federal poverty level, which is just kind of this number. But there are so many working families right now that are having a hard time making ends meet, but they're above the federal poverty level, so they don't get some of the assistance that other people do. And that is growing. That field is growing, and we call that ALICE. So not only are we looking at people below the federal poverty level, but also this strata of people who are really trying to work hard but just can't make all their bills because of inflation and because of just the cost of living and whatnot. So if you look at Linn County, you've got 46% of our population in Linn County is in that ALICE tier. Benton County is 45%, and Lincoln County is about 42%. So we're all pretty close in that, and that's what the United Way is really trying to go after and change through a lot of targeted fundraising, a lot of data. So we look at the data, we layer it on top of the demographics of the county, and then through a volunteer citizens panel from each county, we go out there and see which nonprofits are making the biggest we're getting the biggest bang for the buck, if you will, or how much they're affecting everything that goes under the umbrella of poverty. And then we use the data to fund those organizations that are really making a difference in our community. And it's a great program. It really is.
Well, and that's really making a difference in the community. I just love that theme because, it's all about stepping forward and taking action and making a difference and helping people in our community. When we talk about local, we talk about supporting each other and thinking about that before we reach out too far, thinking about how it affects the people in our community, how it affects the economy, and how it affects each other, right? Because when we're positively influencing and affecting other people, Kevin, we're also raising the bar and helping ourselves out, right? With everything that we're doing, it's also helping our local economy and what we're doing. And so I just think that's so important. You talked about your family, and you're clearly a proud dad. And as a proud dad right along with you, have you been able to, when as your kids were growing up, did they get to experience some of this through the businesses, from being a police officer to being a real estate broker to being with the United Way? Have they been able to experience some of that with you and your wife as well?
Yeah, I think now the kids are getting a little older. They're 19 and 21. The girls are 3 weeks apart and the boys are 2 weeks apart. So they're starting to see that hard work pays off, and having a good work ethic, being out in the community, caring about others around you, and not being so focused on just what you're doing, but having a broader picture. And it boils down to relationships and a network. And I think my kids are starting to see that. Now, there's still 2 of them are still in college, and they're the boys are just kind of getting their feet under them, going off into the adult world. But I think the biggest thing, at least I hope, the biggest thing that they have taken away from what we've done is relationships matter, and it's okay to work hard. It's okay to play hard too, but don't sit around and wait for something to happen. Make something happen for yourself, and then bring others along the ride with you. And it's really about relationships at the end of the day. It's about having coffee with somebody and having a dialogue versus being, texting or on Snapchat or whatever the kids do nowadays. It's about the interpersonal communication and that one-on-one. And that's what builds bridges and eventually leads to success, I think.
Yeah.
And today's guest on the Experience Local, Kevin Manske, Executive Director, United Way, Linn, Benton, and Lincoln County. Just a beautiful swath of Western Oregon to be over, Kevin. I imagine you get to travel a bit in your role.
We get to travel a bit. There's times where I'll be up in Sweet Home, and I was looking over at the little rest area right there by the Point Restaurant, looking over Foster, and then I start driving and I end up at the coast. So there's a lot of region between our 3 counties, and there's a lot of differences. So it's very interesting and it's fun to be ingrained in the different communities and get to know people and get their perspective, because there are issues over in Lincoln County that we don't have to the extent over here, and vice versa. And it's kind of knowing those nuances, knowing what the local flavor is and what some of the local issues are, and then trying to help them address that. And it's different. I mean, for instance, housing over at the coast is one of their biggest issues right now. You can't find housing, especially for service workers. So it's the coast thrives on tourism. I think we all know that. And it's really tough for hotel chains and restaurants and a lot of the service sector to find employees to come over because they can't afford to live there. So how are we, and you have to have those workers to service all the tourists, and that's how their economy goes. I mean, obviously they have some industry too, but tourism is a big deal over there. So it's trying to come up with creative ways in an inflationary type economy that we can help them figure out some of that housing. In Linn County right now, we have a big mental health crisis, and that leads to a lot of other issues too. So it's trying to put the resources and connect partners together to help kind of build a community, or at least trying to address some regional problems within a community.
Well, excuse me, and addressing issues, that is just life, right? There's issues we deal with and challenges every day, but the fact that you are working to address those and help in the areas where they really need things, I think people don't realize, Kevin, I think the broad base of what all the United Way does, right? I didn't realize how many organizations you support. Give us just a little snapshot of the United Way's purpose and how you support all the nonprofits and things that you give to.
So we're about 75 different agencies across the state, across the region. And that comes and goes. It may be 70 one year and maybe 80 the next, but anyway, call it 75. We administer some programs where we've got the Delay Park and Imagination Library, which has been, actually it was started with our Linn County United Way back about 15 years ago, give or take. And that's every child in our area gets a free book from ages birth to 5. So if you sign up your child with the Dollywood Foundation, we fund it and we administer the program over here. Your child will get a free book every month in the mail until they're 5 years old, and that's one of the kind of our cornerstone programs, because we have tracked. This has been this program's been around long enough where we have the data to show that if there's early intervention with childhood literacy, kind of the benchmark is at the 3rd grade, and the kids who are in this program typically do better by their third grade, which again is kind of the benchmark for whether they need to be held back or if they're going to succeed in education, whatnot. This is a huge part of it. And not only is it for the child, but we're seeing parents who maybe can't read very well. Maybe a middle child is reading to the parents and the kids. People who speak a different language or English is not their primary language, they're getting that too. So it's this whole family involvement, and we're raising up people by just funding literacy or childhood literacy. That's one program. We also do LCAN, which is Linn County Child Abuse Network, and that's a program where we continually try to raise awareness about child abuse and whatnot. We do Day of Actions. We partner with our major industries, like in Linn County, it's ATI and Oregon Freeze Dry, Samaritan, Warehouser, Georgia Pacific. And we meet once a year and we pack 50,000 meals and we put about 1,500 kids' book bags together for kids. So that's another program we do. And again, we're also funding our other partner agencies throughout the region. So think of us like a connector. We're really behind the scenes. And another thing that a lot of people don't realize is we're a big part of the emergency response or disaster response contingent between Benton County, Linn County, and Lincoln County. When we had the fires, we were right there at the fairgrounds, distributing stuff, getting money out. We were one of the fiscal agents for a lot of federal money that came into this area, not only for Linn, but for Lincoln County too. They had a huge fire issue down there. So we're really behind the scenes. We're a connector, we're a fiscal agent, and our job is really to empower other organizations and give them some of the resources that they need to be successful. We're not going to go out and build a soup kitchen right now, but we can help fund that, and we can help get resources to those agencies.
And today we're just learning a ton on the Experience Local from Kevin Manske, Executive Director of United Way, Linn, Benton, and Lincoln County. Kevin, I'm just overwhelmed at how much you're involved in, just like Russ was mentioning. And what is a great way for people to be involved? Because I know people have big hearts, some of them have big wallets, but what's the best way for people in these 3 counties to be involved?
There's a number of ways. Sometimes we're looking for volunteers and we put an all call out, if you will, if we're doing an event. Sometimes we paint houses. Sometimes there's micro activities that we do that maybe we need 10 or 20 volunteers for. But the biggest impact we can have is donations, either through attending some of our events, donating through workplace campaign, big gifts, bequests, anything like that, or just somebody wants to drop off 10 or 20 bucks or go to our website and donate now, because those dollars get put into a community pot, if you will. And our community impact teams vet other agencies. So the whole process about how you get money from the United Way is we have open enrollment, if you will, call it open enrollment, and then nonprofits fill out a application for funding that gets reviewed by the community impact teams, and those agencies get vetted. So you have to be a 501c3, you have to be in business for, I believe it's 2 years, and then those applications are looked at by an independent panel of volunteers that know the community. and we have a different panel for every county. And then they look at the agencies, they research the agencies, they look at their 1099s to make sure they're doing the right things. And then when we fund those agencies, those dollars have to go towards programming. And there's a lot of checks and balances. It's very transparent, but the biggest way to help is to help fund those agencies. So please donate.
Yeah, that is amazing. I don't think people realize all that you're doing behind the scenes and realize the impact you have on so many other agencies. You're not just in it for the United Way, you're in it to support and fund so many amazing nonprofits. And I'm just so thankful for all you do, Kevin, and all that you're about. As we start to wrap up our time, I really want to give you a moment to give us really your kind of gold nugget of today's discussion, what you want people to remember about the United Way, besides giving, obviously. And then how do people get in touch with you and how do they give? Take it away.
Sure. I just want people to understand and kind of take away from this discussion that the United Way of Linn, Benton, Lincoln Counties, think of us like a connector. And we are kind of connecting the dots in all the region that we cover to help fund solutions. Okay, we're not going to give one agency $10 million, but we're going to help them, number one, with some funding. We also have one of our staff members who is very well versed in going out and finding funding solutions. So we're going to help you find some grants, maybe help you write some grants, and connect you that way. We're also looking at going after bigger grants and bringing in smaller nonprofits to get some of that. So view us like a connector. We're behind the scenes, and we're there supporting, like I said, those 75-ish different nonprofits in our area, all from the big ones, the YMCA's and the Boys and Girls Club, to tiny food pantries. There's one food pantry out in Nashville, in the Coast Range between Benton and Lincoln County, and nobody even knows about it. But she serves about 1,000, 1,200 people up there, and without her doing that, there would be a huge void. So those are kind of the niche places that we also serve, kind of out of the way, small time nonprofits that don't have a big fundraising mechanism, but are vitally important to the area. So view the United Way as a financial backbone, as a connector, as a relationship builder.
And then how people get in touch with you?
Sure. You can go to the website, uwlbl.org. We also have our office over 1127 Hill Street, right by the Albany Boys and Girls Club, across the street from Crabtree Automotive. And you can give us a call too. We have office lines. All the information's on our website, but uwlbl.org. That's our website.
Perfect. That is so great. And all that information will definitely be in the show notes and will be in the comments, so people can click on that. And people listening, you just got to go to the website. Again, like he said, uwlbl.org is a place to go. And I think they can get in touch with you directly, Kevin, if they go to kevin@uwlbl.org on the email. So there you go. Well, Kevin, thanks so much for being here today. We greatly appreciate you. You're an amazing individual, and we love the United Way. Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you.
Kevin Manske, Executive Director, United Way, Linn, Benton, and Lincoln County. And a great resource for those nonprofits out there that are looking for funding. Definitely reach out to them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is an amazing organization, far beyond what I ever realized. And, Kevin, I've known the previous director and other people there as well. And Kevin is doing such great work and has really opened my eyes to all that they do. So, yeah, he's greatly appreciated. And Scott, I appreciate you every week being here by my
hang out with you, Russ. You're on the Experience Local.
That's it. And don't forget, everybody, I put up there, you go to local.theexperience.video for all the information about Scott and I, or straight to our YouTube page at theexperience.video. And with that, we're going to say goodbye for another episode. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Have a blessed week and enjoy
the experience.
Woo-hoo!
Thank you for tuning in to The Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Listen to the program on Spotify or wherever you listen to find podcasts. Join in every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. We look forward to seeing you next time on The Experience Local with Russ and Scott.